Recently my brother bought this mid-century teak drinks cabinet. In the top section it has this really clever hinge mechanism with mirrors on the inside. The old finish was in bad shape, it had moisture stains and it looked really dry. There was a weird patch on one of the side panels too, and a big scratch on one of the front doors, so it needed refinishing. He asked me if I could make some legs for it too, to elevate it off the ground so that it would better match all of his other mid-century furniture. I wanted to try and get this project finished within a day, mainly because I was going to my brother's the following day anyway, so it made sense just to get it done and deliver it, and that way I wouldn't have to make a separate trip. First I needed to figure out a way of adding the legs that wouldn't be too time consuming, so I wanted to avoid making a frame to support the legs with apron rails, which is what I'd normally do. The shelf panel at the bottom of the cabinet was just a thin piece of ply supported by some cleats around the edges. It was so thin that I could bend it with my finger. So what I decided I would do is to reinforce the bottom with a thicker piece of plywood, and I thought that I could simply glue it to the underside of the thin plywood shelf. I figured there was so much gluing surface available here that I could just rely on the glue to provide the strength and rigidity for a new base with some legs. I first measured up the size that I would need to cut the plywood at. I had some salvaged 15mm ply that was in rough shape, but that didn't really matter as it wouldn't be seen down on the bottom. I confirmed that one edge was straight and then marked up for a rough cut just to get the workpiece to a more manageable size. And I cut it down with my circular saw. I could then cut it to its final length using my panel sled at the table saw. Then I could rip it to its final width on the table saw too. Then I ripped a second piece of the plywood to the same size to use as a leg base. So basically there'll be one piece of ply to reinforce the bottom of the cabinet and a second piece to form a base with legs. That should make more sense later in the video, hopefully. I cleaned up both pieces with my belt sander, mainly to ensure that the glue would adhere properly to the wood, but also just so they wouldn't look so dirty. I had some pieces of sapele that I could use to make the legs. One of the pieces was quite long, and I worked out that I could get 4 nicely sized legs out of it. So I set up a stop block at the miter saw and cut those to size. I used my combination square to mark up some corner positions for the legs onto the leg base, and then I used the legs themselves to mark up the size. Then I decided that the legs would be quite close together along the short side of the leg base, so I decided to position them closer to the front and back edges instead, so I marked those up again. I used a 10mm bit to drill a pilot hole big enough to get my jigsaw blade into, and then I could use my jigsaw to cut out the shapes for the legs. I stayed on the inside of my pencil lines, that way I could use a file to refine the size of the holes to get a nice snug fit for each leg. Once all those holes were done, I could start shaping the legs. I wanted the legs to be tapered, and the easiest way to do that would have been to cut the tapers on the table saw or the bandsaw. But I thought some rounded legs might look better. It might help to soften the look of the cabinet a bit more. Obviously a lathe would have been the best tool to use, but I don't have one of those, so I shaped them by hand instead. I first marked up the thickness of the plywood onto one end of each of the legs. These lines would be where the tapers would start. I wanted to avoid shaping the legs beyond that line, as that would be where they would be joined to the ply. Then on the opposite end of each leg, I used a washer to mark up the shape that I wanted the end of the legs to be. I could then insert each leg into the vise with the stop mark level with the top of the vise, and I used a spoke shave to start shaping the leg tapers. I also did a bit of shaping at the end of each leg with the spoke shave held at roughly a 45-degree angle to add a slight bevel. This would help to stop any chance of the grain tearing out when the legs of the cabinet get dragged around the floor. I have 2 spoke shaves, and after shaping the first leg, I figured out that the fastest way to do the rest of the shaping was to use 1 spoke shave with a heavy set to take rough cuts and take away the majority of the excess material, and then I could switch to my other spoke shave with the blade set to take much finer shavings to clean up the rough cuts and refine the shape of each leg. I did a bit more shaping over at the belt and disc sander until I was happy with the shape of all of the legs. I could then glue the legs into the ply base with some wood glue. I used a hammer to make sure they were fully seated. Usually I would have used my mallet, but I couldn't find it. As the legs were quite close to the front and back edge of the ply, I also drilled pilot holes and added a screw to each leg, just for a bit of extra reinforcement. Next I needed to cut away some of the overhang at the bottom of the unit to reveal the legs that would later be added. I measured and marked up how much I wanted to cut away, making sure to leave a slight lip at the bottom which would cover the leg base but reveal the legs. I also made a scoring cut through the veneer using a knife and a straight edge right where I was going to make the cuts, just to help prevent chipping the veneer when making the cuts with the circular saw, as my circular saw cuts on the upstroke. This worked really well and the cuts were nice and clean. I finished off the cuts at the back using my Japanese pull saw. Then I was ready to glue the new base onto the bottom of the unit, so I applied lots of wood glue, enough to completely cover the ply, and with the unit upside down I could stick it on. And then I could do the same again for the leg base. I applied a few weights and left the glue to set for a few hours. While the glue was drying, I could concentrate on refinishing the parts of the unit that needed it. First I used my heat gun to easily remove these awful stickers that the shop put on the top of the unit. And as if one sticker wasn't enough, there was one on the inside too. The top needed to be completely redone, so I used my card scraper to remove the old finish, which came off really easily actually. I then lightly sanded at 240 grit. I applied some boiled linseed oil which revealed this beautifully figured veneer grain. It came up really nicely. Rather than completely refinish the rest of the unit, I was hoping I could just do the areas that needed it, but that was going to depend on whether the areas that I would be refinishing would blend in well with the rest of the unit in both colour and also the level of sheen. So when I did the scraping, I tried to almost feather in the scraped areas with the grain of the wood so that hopefully it would blend better. That came out really nicely too. The boiled linseed oil coloured the wood perfectly to match the old finish. The last area that needed some attention was the front cabinet door, which had a nasty scratch. So that got the same treatment too, and the scratch completely disappeared. I oiled the legs too. I wanted to add a top coat to the refinished areas, so I chose spray varnish. I figured that I could just apply multiple thin coats of this until I got the level of sheen required to match the rest of the unit. This stuff is also hard wearing, so if people perch their drinks on top of the unit in future, it'll be well protected for many years. I did some gentle wet sanding in between coats of varnish with some 400 grit to keep it nice and smooth before wiping away the dust and applying the next coat. And I did 4 coats in total for the top, and I think I just did 3 for the other areas, and that ended up working out really well too. I really thought I was going to struggle blending in the refinished areas with the old finish, but it ended up being super easy. So then I took the unit round to my brother's and he plugged it in for the first time to see if the light worked, and unfortunately it didn't. But stick around until the end of the video if you want to see it working.
Sorry? It's supposed to come on there open, isn't it? Yeah.
Then I got a bit distracted as there was a family of ducks visiting the garden, so we went to feed them some porridge oats. I also hung out with my brother's fish for a bit. And of course his cats George and Jasper. They still have their cat house too, which my brother and I made a while back on my channel, although now it doesn't fit in so well with all of the new mid-century furniture that he's been buying lately. And here's the record unit that I made for him a few months ago as another project on my channel, which is holding up really well under the weight of all those records. Anyway, the new unit fitted the space behind the door to his kitchen really nicely. And the brother seemed reasonably happy. This was a really successful project. I managed to get it done within a day. I think I spent about 6 hours in total, which is much quicker than I expected. The addition of the legs has completely transformed the unit in my opinion. It looked a bit boxy before, and now it looks quite elegant, I think. The refinishing went really well too. The old finish came off without any trouble whatsoever, and the newly finished areas blended in really well. There's really no visible difference between the new and existing finish whatsoever. And I love that figured grain on the veneer on the top, it just looks amazing. And my brother managed to get the light working too. Turns out it just needed a new bulb. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe if you haven't already for more weekly woodworking videos, and thank you for watching.